Hi again. So today I really wanted to share a bit more about body acceptance, sort of this critical mindset around our body and how the way we've been doing things is actually pushing us further away from the body we want and pushing us more into emotional eating as well. So if you're new here, my name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and I specialize in emotional eating. And I wanted to share this because I was inspired by something that I listened to, and it's also the work that I do with women. And it was the journey that I went through. So while I was listening to this interview, I struggled a lot with my body image. I struggled a lot with food and emotional eating for a really long time. And my struggle with it was really around wanting to look a certain way and be a certain way to have love and acceptance and validation. And so this becomes kind of this messy soup because, we're using food to soothe ourselves from discomfort, and then we're trying to control food and our body to look a certain way to have validation and acceptance, and then, using the food to numb out of the discomfort around not having that and the shame around that. And so it becomes really sort of this soup, like I said, and that's why emotional eating is so multi-layered. And I wanted to dive a bit deeper into the things we've been doing to try to attain this body and why we're actually doing that and how it actually shifts us away from what we desire. So when I work with women, and I relate so much to this because in their heads, it's all about this noise of food and obsession around food, constant hunger, constantly trying to micromanage your body, and then, giving in and emotionally eating and being in the shame spiral. And all of this soup just screams stress. And it is stress. It is a stressful state to be in. All of those critical thoughts, those restrictive thoughts, they put our body into fight or flight mode, which is a stress state. We have, two main ways of being in our nervous system: fight or flight, or rest and digest. And fight or flight, it is a state of stress and dis-ease. And in rest and digest, we're in a state of calm and peace and health. So everything's turned on for health. When dis-ease is turned on in the stressful state, that's where we give rise to inflammatory conditions, to diseases. There's chronic stress, there's inflammatory conditions, there is weight gain, there's digestive issues, and the list goes on. And in a state of, health, of course, we're going to have better digestion. We're going to not have inflammation. We are going to release weight. We're not going to be putting on weight. We are going to have better immunity. We're going to have better energy. We're going to feel more ease and peace and calm. And so there are two distinct states our nervous system can be in. When we're emotional eaters, we are in a stress state because these obsessive thoughts, these chronic thoughts of food, they're always in our mind. They're always ongoing. And so that puts us in a state of chronic stress because these restrictive thoughts, these restrictive and critical thoughts, our nervous system reacts to them in a stressful way. And so putting ourselves into this stressful state with these thoughts, trying to achieve a body that looks a certain way to get that acceptance is really backwards because, as I demonstrated, our nervous system is not in the right mode to attain the results we're actually looking for. And to dive deeper into this, these thoughts are coming from a part of us that is super critical, that is not integrated, that is doing its best trying to get us the results it wants, but it's misinformed. And we can see that misinformation in the way our nervous system is operating. So the way it thinks that it's going to get the results and it's trying to get the result is opposite, because we can see the physical manifestation of that in our body. And while it's trying to get us the results of feeling good in our body and accepting our body and having that body and managing our food, we can see the opposite is happening. All of that stuff is being turned on. So we're having the digestive issues, we're having the weight gain, the inflammatory conditions. We are not feeling good in our body. We're not having peace and ease. All of that's being turned on by the way this voice thinks. And this is the voice that we've inherited from society, from our parents, from our own view of the world, from when we're very young, from our coping mechanisms. And so this voice, it is really trying its best, but it hasn't grown up. It hasn't found a new way of being. And what we need to do with this voice is to integrate it, to get to those deeper levels, the root level of where it was created, so we can start shifting these patterns. And this voice, although I'm saying it's one voice, there can be many voices with many beliefs around many areas. And so what I find with emotional eaters, and this is through my own experience with my own journey and working with clients, is there are three main areas where these beliefs are stemming from the way we relate to food, the way we relate to our body, and the way we relate to our emotions. And so we need to shift these areas and get into the deeper roots. So emotionally eating is a coping mechanism. It's what we use we use food in order to numb out or soothe ourselves from any discomfort or stress that comes up. And this pattern typically has its roots in childhood, along with a lot of these beliefs and what we see and create of the world. And so we need to start shifting these beliefs and these patterns, because we use them and we created them to survive. And when we're in survival mode, we're in fight or flight mode. We need to shift them to a way where we're thriving. So we are in rest and digest mode, and we can turn on all the things that we want. But to go even deeper than that, this journey is not about just attaining what's on the outside, because it has to start from inside by shifting the way we relate to ourselves. The whole point of us chasing the micromanaging of food and looking a certain way, if we're really honest with ourselves, is to have some kind of acceptance, to have some kind of a validation, some sense of self-worth, some sense of being of value. And while those are basic human needs, we're not going to find it in attaining a certain body. We're not going to find it by someone giving us a compliment about our body looking a certain way. That has to come from the inside. And it's only when we do that deeper in our work and we're able to give that to ourselves, that's where we start shifting and we create that true calm and peace in our body. And paradoxically, when we shift our nervous system, we're going to attain the physical things that happen. I'm not promising you overnight weight loss, but this is a journey where, even in my own journey, when I shifted to this way of being, at first I noticed my digestion was better. I felt better around food. I felt more at ease in my body. I had more empowerment, more self-esteem, and eventually my body started releasing weight it didn't need, because now my nervous system had shifted. At the time I was going through this journey, I didn't understand, stress response or the nervous system or adrenal fatigue, and being in this chronic state of stress with all of these critical thoughts that I, created for myself, that I inherited, that I saw around me. I had to move through that. And for emotional eaters, the three main areas around food, our body, and our emotions. And so when we shift these areas, we're shifting our nervous system. We're going to feel tangibly in our body that ease and that peace. And that's a shift in our nervous system to more health. And, when we shift this, it's really going against what we've been taught. So when we are in diet mentality and we're restricting our bodies, we're restricting the food, we're micromanaging, we're constantly, checking our calories and all of these things around food, and we don't feel at ease around it, that's creating a type of stress in our body. When we connect to our body and food, we will find a way that we can nourish ourselves that feels good, that we don't have to micromanage. Yes, we want to have care for our body. Yes, we want to optimize our nutrition. But when it's an obsessive way, it's at an extremity. It's not in a healthy state. Around our body, we want to shift from punishing our body and criticizing our body and feeling we have to attain a certain body to have that self-worth. We want to, dissect this. Worth is not connected to our body. And when we do this and we gain acceptance for our body, when we start feeling at ease in our body, we start honoring its rhythms and rituals, we shift our nervous system to that ease state. And paradoxically, our body will start shifting to the way we want it to look. But It won't be that deep craving of, if I have this body, I have that acceptance, because we're already giving it to ourselves. That cup is already being filled internally. And around our emotions, this is where we honor those parts of us that are feeling this way. We start giving to ourselves that deeper acceptance and love and validation and care, and resolving those root issues that created this pattern, that thought it needed to search outside of itself to get these needs met. And we start truly meeting our needs. We start repairing that dysfunction that we've been living with from this deep core level, and we're not searching for it in the outside. And as we shift this, we tangibly feel our nervous system relax, and we feel that ease and peace. And again, we're shifting it all to this calmer state. We cannot attain a body we love by hating ourselves, by criticizing ourselves, by punishing ourselves. It's like, would you do that to a child? You wouldn't. And that's what we're doing to ourselves. We are punishing ourselves. We're criticizing. This is about shifting our nervous system. And it's not about necessarily attaining those, the weight loss and the way we look. It's about doing that shift internally to meet our deeper needs. And we will start seeing that reflected externally. When we deeply accept ourselves, when we honor ourselves, it can't help but to show up on the outside. And for each of us, that's going to look different. And so when I was on my own journey, what I coined was, this is my healthy. And so you're going to find your healthy. And it might take some time to get there, depending on how long you've been in this chronic stress state, how much weight you have, how many issues you have physically. But your body starts shifting immediately as you do this work. You start feeling that ease in your body. You have better digestion. I see this with clients over the 12-week period. Better digestion, more ease in the body, more peace around food, more confidence. And the outside, sort of the physical, will start following suit over time as you start cultivating this deeper relationship to yourself. And so in my journey, that's what it looked like at first. I had better digestion, better energy. I felt just more confident in my body, and it didn't matter the size of my body. I just felt more at ease in my body. I felt more self-esteem. I just felt more empowered, and I felt good, and I kept moving forward. And over time, my body started to release whatever weight it didn't need anymore. I started to shift my body to its healthy. And this is a process. And this is why the diets and the quick fixes, they don't last. We're not getting to this deeper issue. And it's not even to the point of we have to restrict and contort our body. When we're truly nourishing ourselves, we're optimizing the way we digest. And we're eating in a way that is giving ourselves nutrients. We won't have to second guess and think about calories and restriction, because we're going to honor our body's needs for food and hunger and the right types of foods that it needs. And this is how we shift and get to that point. This is a much more powerful and profound way of feeling good in your body, of accepting your body. And when you do this deeper work, you'll realize it's not about a number on a scale. It's not about anything like that. It's not about someone giving you a compliment, although those things are nice. But when you are feeling that from the inside, you show up differently in the world. You feel at ease in your body. You're going to show up in a way that is more caring for yourself, more compassionate. And that is amazing. And that's priceless. That's priceless to your children, to your partners, to the people you interact with, because you're coming from this really embodied, aligned place. And of course, this is an ongoing journey, but when you do this deeper work to shift it around food and your body, you open that doorway. And it's just amazing. I wish I could bottle it up and sell it, which is what all the pills and surgeries try to do. But if you've tried those things, you're building your foundation on sand. You need something more deep and profound in order to create that feeling consistently and sustainably for yourself. So inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program, this is what we do. We move through these areas, food, body, and your emotions, to connect you back, to shift your nervous system from this sort of fight or flight mode to rest and digest, to connecting you so that you're thriving, you're feeling that inner peace, that inner calm. And that shifts the way your body also operates as well. And so the program is a step-by-step process. It's a 12-week container with accountability, support, coaching, and in-depth somatic meditations to get to the root of some of these blocks, to shift that resistance so that you can start feeling at ease, peace, and that confidence around food and in your body. And so if this is resonating for you, you can find out more about the program below. If you're ready to resolve your emotional eating from the root, you can also book in a 45-minute clarity call. This call is free. On the call, we find out more about you, what you've tried, what your vision is, and we'll make some recommendations, whether that's the Emotional Eating Evolution program or additional resources to help you sort of connect the dots and see what's missing for you. So I just want to say, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.